Hey guys, Cdrama Invasion here. I have a couple of dramas to discuss today, so let's just jump on into it. First is a drama called Love in the Desert. This one stars Hanny Kuzi and Alan Fang, or Fang Yilin. The secondary lead is played by Gao Yang, and second female lead is played by Guan Cheng. So essentially, this is a story that starts in the desert. You have two princesses. Both the female leads are princesses. And the first few episodes is female lead has to marry because she wants to protect her kingdom. And it's a political marriage. She ends up getting kidnapped on the way there. And it's how she deals with all these men who want her because she's the prettiest girl of the desert and all of these things. She's basically using her beauty and wits as like a power play, so they don't have her, but she's in like so many different allegiances, and throughout all of this she falls in love with male lead quite early on, but because of her mission and he also has his own agenda, they can't be together. Let's start with my first impressions because I always make a note of it and things I like, and then we'll go into the problematic stuff later on. So if you like the start of Goodbye My Princess, I feel like you'll love this one. That was my thoughts at first. It's in the desert, romance, politics, enemies to lovers, and I really liked the princess's personality. I think because of her title, that's the only thing she can leverage. So the only power she really has is this political marriage. So she went through with it for her people, and you can tell she's very passionate about her people. She is such a good person in terms of a leader, and she does everything in her power to do this. We see like the brutal sides of the desert in general, like how traveling is just grueling, all these different types of tribes. There's the second male lead who is the biggest red flag, and he steals her just because he could, and he's known as like the scariest barbaric like tribesman, and he has his own clan. He steals her off, and then second male lead gets involved. All four of them gets like tangled into this web at the beginning. And he's just terrible. Let's just say that. Ro Wen is terrible and actually very ruthless. So I found that part so intriguing, just her journey as a woman in that society and how everybody wants her. And it's quite intense, like the way she gets out of this situation. She has to like not upset them too much, but like also be sneaky and do her own thing. She's also one of the true descendants of the desert. So her ancestors gave her this book, and it tells you a lot of secrets and things that people are hunting for, essentially. Pacing is so good at the start. Like the first 10-15 episodes flew by so good. My favorite parts is actually the desert scenes, and I think that's what made a lot of people fall in love with this drama. There is also so much skinship, and I feel like it works in this drama because they're in like a ride or die situation. They know it's like forbidden love, and they really make the most out of it. Like there is a lot of kissing, a lot of skinship, and there's a lot of angst as well. The whole time I was thinking, I know these poor actors are overheating under all that armor and all the layers. I really love how observant she was, and she was just super aware of her surroundings. Male lead is smart as well, so he easily catches on. And the most intriguing part about the relationship at the beginning was this like cat and mouse game where she still has her guard up and they're like fighting their attraction to each other, but they have goals, and it could go south with this relationship. So that was really fun. I thought they handled that part really well. Styling wise, I think they did too much for the female lead. She is a natural beauty, and they did too much with like the all over red is fine because she's a bride, and the jewelry was crazy, like way too much on her. All types of gems. It just ended up looking tacky, and her makeup, those zoom in moments were way too intense. I felt like they were really just cranking up the saturation. That was the vibe, like the warm color palette for sure, but I think she could have done with just like a natural lipstick instead of that bold red on top of the bold clothing and all of that. It was a bit much. Acting wise, compared to the male lead, she is a weaker link, but I feel like she hasn't been in too many of these like more angsty roles. So they were okay. They weren't like the worst thing ever, but she's a tiny bit stiff and she can work on it. I think with time, like she'll get better for sure. Tell me why during the halfway point, it kept going round and round. I forgot to talk about the second couple. Let's do that first. But the second couple is, at first, I found them really intriguing. I'm like, okay, friends with benefits situation, that's really new. And I guess it kind of makes sense because the male lead is like barbaric and I don't know, it was his vibe. And the second female lead didn't mind using her body. So I was like, oh, this could be really intense if like she's trying to manipulate him or anything. But no, he literally treats her like trash and she keeps on coming back. Like she's into this toxic romance. And I don't know, she kept on saying she was fighting for freedom, but we never really got anything with her true backstory. And they had so much attention and just so much screen time that I was like, is this worth it? They were doing the same thing again and again, being very toxic to each other, like 1 second flirting and like playing around, sleeping with each other, but nothing really came out of it all the way until the end. And I never really cared for them. Like after a while, I just got way annoyed. I was like, what is the point of this? That being said, I really did enjoy like little moments of the two princesses together. Those were moments where I was like, the show could have really slowed down and just have them chill and have lots of bonding time, because I feel like it was so healing, especially for the female lead who's being tossed around and trying to play these mind games with everyone, being in the middle of like 3 kingdoms or nations. It was just exhausting and I felt really bad for her. At one point I was like, maybe she should just like leave, like screw all the men, this is annoying. But obviously she's in love with the male lead. But maybe because everything was so quick at first, like when it slowed down, he was barely on screen with her. He was just like sneaking around, like giving her lovesick eyes, and she did the most to him, let's be honest, and he still came back. So I don't know, I didn't like how he had no backbone at the end of it. And you can write a strong female lead, but you can also give the male lead some intrigue. And at the end I was like, this man is so boring, I don't know anymore, like I don't care anymore. I'm here to finish it. And yeah, I did enjoy the visuals, the cinematography is beautiful, but like I said, halfway point, like episode 16 and up, I was just over it. It kept going round and round and I was like, get to the point already. It just felt really dull. All these men fighting over her. She's very stubborn too. And she's trying to play it safe with everybody, but she's kind of just dragging it out, giving everybody mixed signals and hurting everyone. And at one point I was really into the king character too. I don't know. He was interesting for like 5 minutes and then I was bored again. The ending, let's talk about the ending. It was underwhelming and messy when everything converged. Like they were setting up all of these second couples, right? The second couple and then the main couple storyline. But I was just there scratching my head like, that's it? Okay. Yeah, so despite it having potential, in the end, execution was just very sloppy. So disappointing, 6 out of 10. Then I watched The Rise of Ning. Now this is a costume, like family, melodramatic, those types of shows where like everybody's catty, bullying the female lead, that type of setting. And it is the slowest of slow burn, I have to say. 36 episodes, and I don't think it deserves like 36 episodes. There's just some moments where I'm like, get over it already. And this year we've seen things like Blossoms in Adversity, where they did this so much better. It was much more intriguing, especially when I found out, so the last part was basically the female lead trying to set up her own business, being her own independent woman and all that. And I was like, this should have been introduced like way earlier, because I had mixed feelings with this. It's not the worst thing ever. I do enjoy parts of it, especially it being the female lead, male lead. They were very strongly written characters. I really rooted for them. Their relationship is so wholesome. Essentially, they are like half siblings in name, but then obviously we find out since they're going to be lovers, they're not blood related at all, obviously. And I honestly, the first half of the show, I stayed because of Jang Won-ye's motivations, and he is intriguing at first. But then after you find out his motivations and he and the female lead are really close, yeah, there's sweet moments here and there, but overall, a lot of those bullying aspects, like things in the household, could have been much more interesting if they had a smart villain. You know what I mean? Like 32 episodes, and most of these things were just frustrating. The plot lines, the schemes, I was like, female lead was easily able to catch on to things and make everybody realize that, and then they apologize, blah blah blah. Like, it's okay. It's not the best that I've seen. It's okay. But if it's your first like drama with this type of dynamic, then sure, I think you'll enjoy it more than me. Like, if you're a newer drama watcher and you've only seen one or two of this, like, this is probably a drama that you'll like way more than me. But for me, I've seen every year there's at least one or two of these that comes out, and I feel like this is a weaker one, but I did end up watching it till the end, and the ending kind of pulled it back up again in terms of rating. I feel like it was much more interesting once she found out her intentions with like the business. Everything was going well, and I really liked that third act of the drama. I think everything came together nicely, but I would have to say, if you are annoyed by love triangles, you will hate this drama. Absolutely. Not because female lead dabbles in it, it's just so annoying. The second male lead is the most delusional character I've ever seen. How many no's does this man need to hear before he understands that no, she's not in love with you, and even if you had a thing in the past, she does not care, and she doesn't want anything to do with you. That was the most frustrating part for me. Like, he was this big, bad, powerful guy, and for some moments I was really invested because he brought the tension, but after a while he was just crazy. Just straight up crazy, and not like the smart, fun, like, oh, what is he gonna do next? It was predictable. It was annoying as heck. And he was just like a pesky little rat that you can't get rid of. But yeah, like I said, I do like the leads together, so there's that. And the ending was good. I thought there's better family dynamic dramas out there, if that's the aim of this drama, which it was for the first half, like all those things that the female lead went through. Sure, you can say it builds character, but really for 20 episodes, like, I don't know. I think she should have been into her business earlier on. It would have been much more interesting. Male lead obviously can never do no wrong in terms of acting. He's just so on guard and intense and protective of her. Like, I love it. I saw an interview where Jang Won-ye was just like, he's obsessed with characters that are a little bit unhinged. And I love that all the comments were like, yeah, we can tell. And he said it's because he's a normal guy. He's a normal, nice guy in real life. And he thinks that his routine's boring. Nothing really goes on. So he prefers like these more intense characters. And he really likes getting into their minds and stuff. And he does such a good job every time. So no real complaints in terms of acting. Romance-wise, it's slow burn, but I really enjoyed it because they slowly built up their connection, growing from like, I needed somebody to understand, like me being the outcast of the family. That's how they kind of bonded until later when he realizes her little quirks and everything, like every small detail he really loves about her. And I think that's why I fell in love with this couple too. Like very slow burn, but they really understand each other. Overall, I'll give this a 7 out of 10. Let me know your thoughts on this one or on the other one as well. What's your ratings? I have been watching all of the things these days because all of them are good. So if you're not caught up to Fangs of Fortune, Love Game in Eastern Fantasy, or Story of Pearl Girl, do that, and we'll definitely discuss it the second it's done, because I'm pretty much caught up with all of these dramas and they're all fulfilling something for me. So yeah, by the end of this year, I usually do top 10s like next month, and I'm actually having trouble making it, so I think I'm gonna change up the format this year. Probably do one for each like genre, subgenre of dramas, just because I can't pick like a top 3 for the life of me. There's been so many good ones. But I hope you enjoy this video. Stay tuned for some more reviews. We're gonna do Kill Me Love Me, probably on its own video instead of these double features. And that one I'll dive deep into everything from spoilers to not spoilers. So stay tuned for that video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.